Alright, so today's topic is one that I have I've been thinking about doing for some time, and it's based on a particular mentality that I've been having for already many years already, and it has to do with programming, and it's called the self-programming, or basically programming ourselves, whether it be from a health perspective, nutrition perspective, life goals, behavior modifications, whatever it might be that you do or don't like to do or are interested in doing or not interested in doing, or whatever it is that you can think or you can imagine. This video is what it details. It's about it's about programming, the idea that you can alter a change um, from your own ability from where you are now. A lot of times, what happens is that we become scared with the fact that after being so long on a specific way of living or a specific lifestyle, we become so scared or um, so convincing that what we're doing at the present moment is the only thing and it's the best thing. And a lot of times, I feel to say that it's not true. Of course, in no way does this mean that what you're doing now, whatever it might be, for your own personal well-being, it doesn't mean that it's wrong or it's incorrect or that's a false way of living. It just means that a lot of times, after we continue doing one particular thing or several things on a day-to-day basis, every single day, month after month, year after year, depending how long you do what you do, for improvement or for maintenance, uh, we become programmed into just that. And so the moment we try to step away for maybe an experiment, just to step away to see something different, to do something different, to think somehow differently, whether that be religion, politics as well, whatever it is, all of a sudden we go into shock. We get scared. We have confusion. We have weird thoughts. Um, we become distorted. We tend to all of a sudden have this belief that what is not right for us. It's wrong. It's incorrect. And the fact is that there's a good chance, of course, that it is not right for you and that it is wrong and that it is incorrect. There is that chance, of course. But the biggest chance, the biggest fact of it all is that if you've been doing what you've been doing for X amount of time, and for each person it's gonna vary, then all you have done up to now is program that pattern, that way of living. Okay, and so therefore I want to read to you. I want to read to you what I wrote, and in order for me to actually share with you a more detailed information, I want to be able to read to you what I wrote this morning. That way, it's maybe a bit more on the clear side than how I would than than me just sharing it right off the back. Uh, so let me go ahead and do that for you. Okay. So even though I'm calling my article here that I'm writing, I'm calling it programming your body. Even though I'm calling it programming your body, um, I want to be able for you to understand that it's programming your whole self. It's you, programming or not programming. Anyways, let me get started. You can program your body, your brain to stop or not, but even slow down to do less than what you are doing now. You can train yourself subconsciously and in every way imaginable to regain strength or not. as you can decide to live in the moment without the desire for change, other than what you might be accustomed to. And the longer you go on choosing the path you are deciding, even though I do feel we have our own unique destiny, but decisions can alter a different direction, then that is what we happen for you. And what will happen for you. Sorry about that. Living is living, and blood, tears, nerves, bones, tissues, brain, eyes, our life, etc., is just that, a living cell with a tape recorder, okay, with a tape recorder within, surrounded by fluids, waste, energy, bacteria, etc. In other words, we are a cell, and within that cell is what I call a tape recorder. It's what I learned and educated myself on years ago, a tape recorder. And within that tape recorder, you can program your lifestyle. And if you continue that lifestyle, whatever it might be, very good for you, very not very good, whatever it is to you, whatever that means to you, you can program it to become very profound. And so any kind of change can be very and extremely difficult. Not because it's bad or harmful, but because you have programmed you yourself that that way is the only way, and that is the right way. Anything else automatically brings fear, emotions, etc. So anyhow, let me continue. Living is living. Okay, no, I said that already. There are many, or at least I know many, think our core is either our abdominal wall. This is where I get into that part of what I was talking to you about, the tape recorder. There are many, or at least I know many, think our core is either our abdominal wall, gut, our heart, or referred as a center. Many think our core is just that. But I have learned and still feel over the years that our core is our tape recorder within. Okay? You can program it however you decide, as you can ignore the programming process and just live a reckless or just live recklessly, which usually means someone who is lost, confused, unaware of its surroundings, life, etc., is usually the one living recklessly, since he has chosen to not program himself to be the best or better than he was before, a journey chosen by his own creation, designed by his own self-will, then that will be the life he lives. Examples to further understand what I have been saying. You can learn to race, drive, and become fascinated by such a sensation and pleasure. And the longer you continue, the more you begin to program your feelings, nerve impulses, brainwave activity, emotions, desire, will, thoughts, accomplishments, etc. to such lifestyle. A choice, but the moment you try to do different, it can be extremely difficult, as almost impossible, almost as not doing it anymore, as you feel psychotic just for the thought or the mere glance of a change or a difference. You can practice every day a sport. Okay, this is another example. You can practice every day a sport of your favorite choosing to eventually do it every day, or as often as possible, to where your life becomes attached to know what it will do and requires the next day, and so forth. This has what is called an effect on our brain waves, thoughts, feelings, etc. All of the same from the last example. Meaning, again, without actually going repeating the same thing, but whether it's you learning at first before actually becoming a race driver, before you learning and becoming a sports writer, a sports player, or a sports speaker, before you actually begin doing it, and as you continue doing it, once you do start, all these feelings, emotions, desires, will, thoughts, all this brainwave activity, everything that's happening, it's you programming your inner self, the tape recorder, to that lifestyle. And so the moment you try to do something different, so the moment you try to walk away or leave it alone, just like doing drugs, for example, the moment you walk away, what happens? Just the same. You go into almost a psychotic phase, right? So it's the same thing. You program it to use drugs all the time, to live by the drugs, to do what it wants you to do, what you want it to do. Everything about it is within that the cell. Okay? You program it the way you do, the way you live, the way you choose. Okay, here's another example. You can eat a specific food, such as a fruit or a drink, but even eat a certain way. And that choosing can and will become you, your life. But the moment you try different, or so long has passed, you can feel as almost a phase of a manic episode, or as I referred above, psychotic. This goes for people who eat a certain way, or people who live by a standard of thinking that a certain food, a single food, for instance, a vegetable or a single fruit, or a class of vegetables, a class of fruits, or a class of plant-based, or a class of vegetarian, or whatever the class of food that you're choosing, or liquids to live by, or whether it's for several days or several weeks or maybe several months, until you either get better, right, or just that is the way you choose to live. What happens is, based on what I'm talking about, the moment you try to do something different, all of a sudden there's a reaction, there's a fear, there's a sense of that is not right for me, that is not for me, that's wrong, that's incorrect. Putting aside moral beliefs. But even with that, what you're doing in the meantime, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, what you're doing in the meantime, you're also programming that within yourself, in the tape recorder. So when you think of moral reasons or nutritional reasons, you actually been feeding that sense within the cell. So anytime you try to change from whatever phase of eating or why you're eating what you're consuming, it's not because it's really just harming you, or it's not really because it's bad for you. Okay? Yeah, it's yes, of course it's harming you. Yeah, it's hurting you. But the reality that it's not really doing that. What's actually happening is that you have programmed yourself into one way, and that way is the way that your cell, you as a cell, only comprehends. And so anything else that tries to come in after so much pressure of you programming yourself one specific way all of the time, anything different, anything that is not of, is fearful, it's dangerous, it's extremely erratic, it's just wrong, it's unrecognizable. So let me continue. Okay, so just in case by now if you do not understand my point, let me explain briefly. My point is, whatever life you choose, you have a choice to make it or break. Whenever, and yes, it can be very hard, even extremely hard for many. But at any given time, you can program your body, mind, to attain new information for the life you are wanting to choose. Do. You have a choice. Even though I speak that we are destined with a destined path, we still have a choice to mirror to the left or mirror to the right or go back and forth. You have a choice. You can stay here or you can stay there. You can think this way or you can believe that, or you can feel this, or you can see this way, or you can feel that way. You have a choice. And your choice, the one that you decide for whatever topic it might be about, if you do it on a continuous basis, repetitively, almost like an addiction, almost as of an addiction, that you continuously do it all the time, you live by it, you breathe it, that's all you see, that's what you think about, that's what you do, that's what you write, that's what you talk, that's how you breathe it, that's how you sleep on it, that's how you dream about. Basically, it's just you continuously. That becomes you. You transform you by what you program yourself with, whatever it is. So let me continue with what I wrote. I say, and I have been saying for years, that we can be programmed, which many are to believe and think, etc., how X wants us to be. But we can also program ourselves completely and unconditionally. Therefore, even though many understand, they still fear the idea of change because they see and feel something so hard that to be different is almost wrong or dangerous, when in fact what is the mere thought of change into an unknown from where you have spent your life programming until now. Yes, you can change. You can reprogram your tape recorder within at any time, but you must understand that it can be extremely difficult, challenging to agree or believe. Like the saying goes, if you can believe it, it can come. Your life is in your hands. The now is your true destiny. You can decide to change it and change it several times if you choose, until you discover what is best for you without any doubt. Just live knowing that change is not really harmful or dangerous, but a very new beginning from living a life you program so deeply, so sub and unconsciously. Like I always say, a combination approach is always best for a complete renewal of thyself or for a dramatic change in one's life. It's very important to understand because there's a lot of other factors that come in the way of the programming effect and the reprogramming effect, and there's several factors that contribute how well it turns out to be or how effective it becomes. Okay, so, and I continue here. Our heart, brain, and liver has the will for rejuvenating itself. We, you, and I have the potential to rejuvenate our path, ourselves into a new behavior, or to strengthen our present choice. The toxicity, pollution, fake food, dangerous chemicals, drugs, people, environment, etc. can become a factor in change. But remember this, if you feel wrong, bad, sick, it's coming from doing such thing. It does not really mean it is bad or wrong all of the time. What it can mean is a new start of something you need to allow your inner self, if you want the change, to reprogram this change for what you now want. In other words, what I've been saying, there's factors that come in between the decision making, the change making, the reprogramming of your own self. There's a lot of factors. So basically, in general, how I stated, the toxicity, the pollution, fake food, all those concepts, drugs, people, environment, all those concepts lies under one thing, a chemical that interacts with our self-will to make those changes, to create those changes, to reprogram ourselves. Okay, they are a factor in that. It does not mean it's impossible. All things that are impossible are possible. And so I continue saying, please understand, this is not about creating a different life from the one you have now. As I always speak about, anything, everything you do is your choice, not mine. I only am sharing my experience and knowledge of over the years. What you are doing now, of course, might be the best thing for you, although that is for you to understand. And as I like to say, take it easy, slow down, live in the now, do not rush, live for today, one day at a time. Yours truly, a stranger or a friend. And so basically, what I've been able to explain to you is that you can have other things happen in your life. You can consume something else. You can believe in something else. You can find yourself in another environment and do just as great or better. You can lose as much weight as you want. You can do better at whatever it is you're doing. You can do different. Yes, you can. It's a matter of how much you're willing to put into yourself, that you really want to make that change. Remember, you, we, I are a cell, and so within that cell is what I've been saying is a tape recorder, and so whatever you program within that cell is what you become. So, as I said in the beginning, and I'm sorry, at the end, just live for today. Do the best that you can. Take it one day at a time. And if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. I do plan to make more videos. I did try before one time, but I ended up removing them for several reasons. And yeah, just leave me a comment or anything, or get in touch with me if you want to know more specifics. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.